Hello and welcome to the Prospect Blueprint. This webcast is for prospects, coaches, and those who support those prospects so they best understand what it takes to get from one level to another, whatever that level may entail. My battery mate, as usual, is Mr. Rick Dempsey. I, of course, am Kelly. Rick spent 24 years in the major leagues. He's a fan favorite with the Twins, the Yankees, the Orioles, the Brewers, my Indians, and the Dodgers. And in 1983, he won the World Series MVP for the Baltimore Orioles. Today is our Northern California Sophomore Showcase special. Say that 5 times as fast as you can. We have a couple handfuls of outstanding players here as selected by their coaches to attend the showcase October 8th at Folsom Lake College. Guys, we're going to start off with introductions. We'll start at the top of the, I think we all have the same grid here. We'll start at the top of the grid. And we'll ask you to not be bashful. Tell us your names, all the positions that you play, the schools you're attending and bounced from, any awards you won in high school, Juco, or even summer ball, which can be super competitive. And let's start with our Ohlone boys. Who are you? What'd you do? Lay it on us. And make sure you guys are all not muted, please.
I'm Stevie Hong. I'm the shortstop at Ohlone College. It's my third year there. I went to Valley Christian High School. My sophomore year, we won the CCS championship, and we were number 1 in the nation that year. My junior year, we were number 7 in the nation, won the CCS championship that year, and then my senior year was COVID.
Hello, my name is Ethan Shaver. I'm a true sophomore at Ohlone College and a right-handed pitcher. I'm 6'2", 195 pounds, and grew up in San Jose and went to Leland High School. In high school, I got a team MVP, and last year, at the end of the year, I got honorable mention for the for all conference, and had a 3.14 ERA at the end of the season.
One more. That was it for Ohlone. Let's go to Feather River College.
My name is Corey McIntyre. I am from Yuba City, California. I was a kickback from California State University Northridge. I am an outfielder and an infielder as well. I got first team all conference last year for outfield, and then in high school got all first team conference as well for high school as well.
Outstanding. Next.
My name's Cooper Thacker. I'm from Paradise, California. I played my high school ball at Pleasant Valley High School. We were section champions, and I was all conference my junior year. And right now I'm primarily a shortstop at Feather, but I can bounce around, play second, play third, and run a little outfield.
San Joaquin Delta, you're in the house.
My name is Brennan O'Sullivan. I'm from Pleasanton, California. I attended Amador Valley High School, where I was a second team all-league shortstop. Then last year I was a second baseman at Delta, and I won second team all-conference.
All right, well, my name is Josh Peretti, 6'2", 220-pound first baseman. I went to Ceres High School. You probably never heard of it, but I was second team all-league. We didn't play my senior year because of COVID. And then last year at Delta, I was second team all-league again. And yeah, that's about it.
Outstanding. MPC?
All right, my name is Cato Kleinman. I'm from Westlake Village, California. Went to Westlake High School, and junior year, I won first team all-league. Didn't have a senior year. Went to Santa Clara, bounced back from them, and I'm now at Monterey Peninsula College. I play shortstop and I catch.
Wasn't there also an all Southwest Futures team in there somewhere?
Yeah, sophomore year, I made the all West or all Southwest All-Star team, and this summer ball I was playoff MVP.
My name is Cato Kleinman. I'm from Westlake Village, California. I went to Westlake High School. In 2020, I bounced back, or at the end of the 2020 season, I bounced back from Santa Clara University. This is my second year at Monterey Peninsula College. The 2021 spring season, I got first team all conference, first team all NorCal, and first team all region, or just all region.
Rick, take your swings, baby.
All right. Well, I know that all you guys are probably getting ready and anxious to move up the ladder. I kind of like to know, and I'll get to learn a little bit more about all you guys. If you tell me what you think, what you think you bring to a ball club, and what makes you recruitable for these colleges at this upper level. Kel, who do you think we should start with in this?
Let's start at the top with Brendan, then we'll go to Corey, Casey, Steve, Cato, Ethan, and Josh and Cooper.
Okay, so I think I'm a recruitable infielder shortstop because of the level of competitiveness I bring to teams. You know, I'm somebody who doesn't like to lose, somebody who wants to win at all costs. So I think I bring great competitive attitude. I bring great leadership. I've been a leader at almost every team I've played on throughout the years. I got a great baseball IQ up the middle, and you know, I'm there to help my team win at all costs. So yeah.
What I would say is that I bring, you know, your utilities also help playing left, center, and right, and also playing second base as well. You know, on every single team, I think leadership is very important as well. The way you handle yourself off the field and how you carry yourself is huge, I think, as well as I think speed is also a huge thing that could help at the next level as well. So that's what I would say.
I'm like what both said, competitiveness, leadership, utility. And I think that those are all great things to bring. I could also say for myself that I could bring experience, like being at that D1 level, playing with those guys and knowing sort of how the system works. I could say that's, you know, really helpful as well. Another thing I would like to say is maybe possibly, you know, with grades, you know, you could be reliable in the classroom, and you know, it lets the coach know that, you know, you're responsible outside of baseball.
Stevie?
I like to say that my energy is probably my number one quality, my energy and my mentality. I don't let like uncontrollable things like affect me on the field. I think that like umpires and weather conditions and field conditions like all come with whatever is on the field that day. I'm only playing against like the team against the field, you know. And another thing is that I feel like at the end of the day, whether it's 0-4 or 4-4, you know, my end all be all is that, you know, I just want to win. And I think all my teammates would know that. If you go and ask them, like, the energy I bring is whether we're up or down, I try to make sure that it's consistent every day, you know, and that they can rely on me, whether I'm at shortstop, second base, third base. I'm going to be there vocally and physically on the field. They know that my work ethic is there. And one thing about being at shortstop too is that like my IQ, I'm able to talk to everybody on the field and know where everybody's supposed to be. So if there is that new guy in the program who doesn't exactly like know where he is, I'm there to help him, you know, understand and learn along the process.
When I play, I want to be that type of player who brings just an unreasonable amount of energy to the field. I want the coaches to know that I'm there. I'll work hard at all costs. I'll try to pick my team up. I kind of want to put my team ahead of myself because kind of just being an I guy just doesn't really get the team anywhere. I'm 100% motivated, and I'll do anything I can to help the team win.
Yeah. Personally, I think I bring a good deal of leadership, and I think my teammates can count on me to always compete in any situations and pick up my teammates, as well as, you know, staying calm and consistent in high pressure situations. And I think the thing that makes me recruitable is my work ethic, and I thrive when I'm a part of a good culture. As far as specifically pitching, I think I'm a consistent strike thrower and confident throwing any of my secondary pitches for strikes in any situation.
Is it me?
Actually, no, it's supposed to be Josh.
Okay, perfect.
Then it's you, Coop.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, I think what makes me recruitable is just I like to approach every game a little differently. Like, I'm the same person no matter what's happening, whether I'm 0-4, 4-4. I lead on the field. I like to keep everybody up, just have energy throughout every game, every practice. Everything that I do is at a high level, I think. I think another thing that makes me very recruitable is my swing. I think that could play at a lot of levels. And so I try to use that to my advantage. I know what my strengths are, and I know what my strengths aren't. So I gotta find a way to tap into whatever it is and just find a way to give 100% every day. So, yeah.
Cooper?
Yeah. I mean, like he said, like, you really do have to know your strengths, and I feel like you can put me out there in any situation, whether it's one of the middle of the pack conference games or if it's the biggest playoff game you're ever going to play in. Like, if you need me to get a bunt down, I'm more than willing, and I will do that. Or if you need me to go play right field, it doesn't really matter. But I also feel like Corey kind of said, like, speed definitely plays, and that's how I kind of style my play style around. I like to go hard, give 110%, steal as many bags as I can. So I just feel like that's kind of where I project.
Yeah.
That's all we got, Rick. Next question.
Well, every player has a comparable, somebody that they compare themselves to at the major league level. Even scouts will look at you guys when you're playing, and they'll compare you to somebody at the major league level to kind of give you an edge with other scouts. Who do each of you see yourself? Who do you compare yourself to at the major league level now? Let's start off with Tony. Yeah. I've got the list of names here, but I'll see. Now, Tony, are you a catcher?
So my name is Josh. I used to catch, and then
I have you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my mom's computer. Mine decided to die today, so we're just rolling with that.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I caught up until my freshman year of college, but I'm a little bit of a bigger guy, and the bat plays for me, so that wasn't always the easiest to get my swings in every day when you're catching 100 bullpens. So I decided to flip it over to first base and just really allow myself to use my swing. But I don't know, someone I always compared myself to or like want to be like is like Prince Fielder, David Ortiz. Those guys have always been like my idols when it comes to swinging the bat. So, I mean, you put those guys in any moment, they're going to be clutch. They live for the 3-2 counts, the bottom of the ninth. You know what I mean? Like I want to be that guy every time I step on the field. I want the big play to come to me or the big moment to be in my hands because I think that I'll get the job done no matter what. I truly believe that I'm the best player on every field that I step on, even though it might not be true all the time, but I feel like that's the way I got to look at it. So.
Well, that's good. That's good. David Ortiz is a good guy to follow. Be careful about wearing those sunglasses because I know you're peeking at the signals when you're looking back.
Brendan?
But a good habit to get into.
Yeah.
All right. Next guy.
I'm not really that good with my player comp, but my roommate told me to say JJ Hardy. That's what he comps me as. But
wow.
Swing comp wise, I like to emulate my swing after Flagro Jr. because I like that like toe tap, and that's how I swing. So when I was making my swing into what it is now, I looked at him a lot and compared myself to him a lot. So
yeah, that's a great one too because JJ Hardy, maybe not the flashiest shortstop you ever want to see in the major league, but this guy, he anticipated so much. He was always in the right place at the right time, and he communicated well with the players on both sides of him. That's a great guy to fashion yourself after. Good.
Thank you.
Next guy.
I would say that I wouldn't fully compare myself, but I really do like Dustin Pedroia. The way he carries himself, the way he plays the game, how hard he goes. When you see him, he's always like he's gonna give 110% every single time. And I also like to compare his size-wise, pretty similar in size. He's not the biggest guy on the field, but he's also one that is going to go out there and he knows he's going to do what he can do, and he can hold his own.
Yeah, for his size, man, he had a tremendous amount of confidence in himself.
Yeah.
So certainly a pretty good player, a leader down there on the field at all times, and a tough little out, I'll tell you. He knew how to play the game, use the whole field. Not like a lot of guys at this level. It's kind of out of his phase right now, but yeah, he's a good pick. Next guy.
I think, I've always been a Giants fan. I've always really looked up to Brandon Crawford. I think just the way he handles himself on the field, like you couldn't tell if he just made 4 errors or just made 4 Gold Glove level plays, but I think more recently, I've kind of looked at myself as more like a Trey Turner, like really fast, likes to use that. The stolen bag has kind of like disappeared in today's game, and he's still one of those guys that'll steal it and he can run it out of the ballpark if he needs to. And I mean, I've never heard any bad word on Trey Turner. So, good teammate, good guy all around.
Very good fundamental player that you chose, Trey Turner. He does a lot of the little things really well. Major League Baseball is losing the running game. Catchers aren't, too scared about guys getting on base, trying to steal second, trying to steal third. But Trey Turner will pick the right spot all the time. So you're right. He's very pensive and he's very thoughtful about what he does. He's aware of game situation and when to steal. It's not an issue for him. He's going to steal, I think, 90% of the bases that he goes after. So you've got a good pick there also. Nice one.
Stevie, did you already speak? Go ahead.
No, I like to say, I emulate my game after Derek Jeter, his leadership qualities and respect for the game, and kind of understanding for what it takes to be part of a great winning team is something, I take pride in, and kind of like only accepting things that make you great, like everything in your work ethic and how you go about yourself, and like everything on like how you are as a teammate, and like kind of tossing away distractions so your team can just stay focused and, get to it. That's something I, take a lot of pride in. Another thing is that, I'm not like the biggest or fastest, strongest guy out there. So I just got to make sure that all the different parts of my game collectively are just always on point and, consistent. This way, the pitcher on the mound and my teammates, they all know that, I'm reliable in that sense.
They're all batting 1,000 right now on your picks. Derek Jeter he changed the American League East around just with his attitude alone. He always did what he was given to do. If it was a pitch down on the outside corner with 2 strikes, he was never going to take it in a close count. He's going to drive it down the right field line and help you win a ball game. And he had an effect on every player around him that made the New York Yankees the strongest team in his era in Major League Baseball. That another good pick. I commend you on that one. Absolutely. I've always loved him myself. He wasn't even on my team. Okay, we got another couple guys. Come on.
I'm not sure. I'll go.
Sorry, Casey. Go ahead.
Very good. So I'm not sure a lot of people like this pick, but let's forget about 2017, and I'm gonna say Jose Altuve, just because of like a smaller stature player who could, run into a ball, great defensive player, and he's pretty darn fast. Aside from the whole scandal, he's still a phenomenal player that's, apparently looked down upon right now, but still he brings a glove, he brings a heavy bat and speed, and for his size, it inspires a lot of like shorter players. And that's one player that I try to model my game after, and being, not so big, I look up to him, even though 2017 wasn't, that great of a year for him or the whole Astros organization.
No, that's all right, Kate. I know what you're talking about, guys. So he didn't take a back seat to anybody. And I always thought that, he made himself a bigger player by the way he reacted to situations. He can hit the ball out of the ballpark, but he wasn't always trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He made himself, the center of that ball club, the Astros. They all look to him for leadership down on the field. So that's a good guy that a lot of players that aren't real big, but can still contribute to the team in a big way. And he certainly is at the top of the heap at the major league level right now. He's a great player.
Well, Casey, you're still several inches taller than him. Yeah, I think Altuve is only about 5'6" or 5'6". So I mean, you'd have to be pretty diminutive to match. And by the way, people do look down on him figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
It's a joke, guys. There we go. There's some smiles. Thank you. Next.
I've for the longest time looked up to Michael Brantley because he's had a really smooth swing, very compact. And I model my swing after him. A current athlete that I really look up to now is Kwan. Steven's a low strikeout percentage hitter, hits the ball everywhere, bunts, really just grinds and proves everybody wrong because he's a smaller baseball player as well. I also look up to Colton Wong defensively because Colton Wong reminds me of myself, Asian American, and he's just really, really nice with the glove. I can watch his highlights all day, and whenever I see him play defense, it just motivates me to go out and take more reps.
Nobody else has mentioned anything about defense, so you're the first one there too. But yeah, it's such a very big, important part of the game that's going to keep you at the major league level if and when you get there. So those are good picks at the same time as this guy because you pay attention to the whole game, and not all players do that. They only think about offense and uppercutting and swinging and hitting the ball out of the ballpark. But a lot of major league batting averages are under 200, and guys are still in the lineup. They just want to go for they're one-dimensional players. But you want to be a full-dimensional player, and that's what's going to take you to the next level is being able to play the entire game, see the game as it is. Don't waste your time chewing on sunflower seeds and heading back into the clubhouse to get something to eat during the ball game. Pay attention, be a student of the game, and you'll move up the ladder pretty quick. Good picks.
Ethan, did we do you yet?
No, not yet. I don't normally compare myself to big leaguers, but I'd say I have two player comparisons. I think I have one from a pitching arsenal standpoint, and then one from a personality standpoint. I think from a pitching arsenal standpoint, I think I throw similar to Devin Williams because he's known for his changeup, and that's also what I'm known for, and he attacks the zone with his fastball as well. And I think from a personality standpoint, I really like to look up to Logan Webb because he's a guy who pitches with emotion and excitement, and he's a great teammate. And he stays cool and collected in high pressure situations.
Yeah. Well, there's a time and a place for emotion when you're out there on the field. I think you're on the right track there because you see when it's time to kind of get your team fired up behind you. It usually comes from what you do on the mound. You have to be the one guy on the team that stays focused on the strike zone, throwing strikes, staying ahead of the hitters, But when you're successful, you got to know which guys really need to be, perked up a little bit during sometimes they may be 0 for 3, they may be 0 for 4, but that's not what helped you win the ball game. You need guys to focus behind you because you can't strike everybody out. They've got to be ready to catch fly balls. They got to be ready to catch ground balls. The pitcher's best friend is the double play. You know that. So it's a couple good guys to follow after because you have control over their emotions, a lot of guys, and you should know every single one of them behind you at some time or another. You figure everybody out and you keep them focused. You're the one that will help them because they realize that you're out there to get the job done. You want them to give you the same amount of emotion when they play.
Yeah.
All right. Good deal.
Gentlemen, the next level is going to bring adjustments, whether you like it or not. Those of you who played in more competitive summer leagues probably saw that. There is a definite jump in talent in the pitching, certainly, once you go from a Juco situation to, let's say, the Northwoods League, anywhere on the East Coast, and certainly here on the West Coast. What was the biggest adjustment that you guys had to make going into Juco baseball from high school or whatever level it was that you previously played? We'll start off with Brandon, go to Corey, Casey, Stevie, Cato, Ethan. Sorry, Josh, and then Cooper.
I'd say the biggest adjustment is definitely, the speed of the game. You get to, high school is a lot slower. You're only playing 7 innings. Juco, you're playing 9. That's a big difference. But, the pitching slower, the game moves slower. Guys aren't as physical. But, you get to Juco, everybody's physical, everybody's fast. Pitchers are good. They're going to hit their spots. You got to be able to hit their pitches. You can't just look for fastball middle all the time. You got to be able to hit, off speed, fastball in, fastball away, whatever. And then the jump for me this summer, like when I went to the Northwoods, was, the pitching is definitely a lot better, and you got to, be able to hit again their pitches, and be able to hunt fastball in the counts that you can, and be able to, fight and get base hits when you can't get your pitch. So it's probably the biggest thing.
I would say the difference of coming from high school and then going to a Northridge was definitely the speed of the game as well as pitching. You see the quality of everyone is, you're just as good and everyone else is the exact same way. They can throw harder, they hit harder, they run faster. Everything there is just very well rounded. Every single person there can do what you can do. So I think that what is harder coming from there to back to a JUCO, you have to learn how to stay with that. You need to learn how to continuously hit that fastball that's thrown a lot harder than you would normally see or stuff like that. So I think that would be the biggest difference.
Yeah, like as Brendan said before, it's a change of pace. It moves a lot faster. But one important thing that like I had to figure out was just this little trust my skills, trust myself. There's a reason I got to Santa Clara in the first place. And if you don't think you're good enough, well, you were there for a reason. Trust yourself. And then bouncing back to JUCO, just keep that same mentality of like, don't play down if you're, going down, or if you're going up, keep playing those like at the same level of intensity that you've always played at. And you'll just, better yourself as a player. And then going to summer ball, the consistency of speed that I was facing when I was hitting was, everybody's throwing 5 miles per hour harder. I think the average velo was faster, and I still had to trust myself. And after like more reps, I finally got a hang of it. But that's my take on it. Just trust yourself and adapt to the speed change.
Well, I would say like playing at my high school, Valley Christian, it was like pretty challenging, and us being like a top number 1 in the nation school, like we would have like really tough practices. Like our practices would be kind of like close to 3 to 4 hours, and then I would say that they would definitely be more challenging than when we were in the game. So coming from that program and then coming to college, I feel like I was like just really prepared for a lot of situations in games, in practices. But one thing I would say like that was challenging for me is that like maybe the guys around me like weren't all like the guys that went on to D1s and like top schools like from my high school. So how am I gonna like motivate the guys around me to kind of be on the same like motivation, just like not let things affect them. And another thing I would also say is that like no one's going to be there to tell you to be like that, or tell you to do this and tell you to do that. So you got to like just find a way to be responsible enough to know to do all that stuff on your own.
Outstanding.
What I established kind of going into the next level was finding my own routine or schedule, being able to balance what I'm eating, how I'm working out, and schoolwork was kind of tough, like right off the bat. But as soon as I kind of got that locked down, it made things a lot easier. Like I would eat, go to class, have practice, eat, and then go to the cages, swing some more, then go to bed, and then repeat the process. And as soon as I nailed that, it kind of everything in the whole season just flowed kind of smoothly. And all I had to do was just worry about what was in my control.
Well, I think one thing for me that is kind of been my biggest adjustment is mental toughness, because nothing's really guaranteed. And when you go from high school to college baseball, there's a big difference in competition and just the commitment from everyone around you and your teammates. And I think junior college baseball is really valuable because it's helped me develop physical toughness, physically, and also mental toughness.
Josh?
I think for me, it was just being able to adjust like mentally to the game. I mean, in high school, I think it's pretty unheard of to see a 2-0 changeup, but now that's something I see a lot. So being able to adjust with the pitchers and things like that. And then another thing that really helped me to just get settled in was like something we preach a lot over at Delta. It was the mental game, like being able to use that all the time and really lock it in up top makes the game so much easier. You can slow everything down. If you have a routine for everything that you do, a way to make yourself feel good, confident, stepping into the box every time. Just things like that, little adjustments that allowed me to be a lot better.
Coop?
Yeah, you know, like everyone's kind of said, like speed of the game is just huge difference. Like, I mean, especially being a shortstop, you're getting rockets hit at you all the time, and dudes are busting down the line a little bit faster than in high school. So it was definitely an adjustment. But like the last couple of guys said, like getting in a routine, you know, you're playing every weekend plus like a midday week or midweek game. It makes it hard to get your lifting in, to get your schoolwork in, and to, you know, still be able to lock in for every single game and give 100%, 110% like all the time. So just being able to get yourself in a routine to make sure you fit all the stuff in you need to get in is huge.
We're going to move right along to my favorite question. You guys get to brag on yourselves a little bit. And certainly that's something that, you know, if you can't blow your own horn, whose horn can you blow? So I'm going to let you guys blow away. We've all had great games, right? Forgettable games as well. And as your team's selection to the sophomore showcase, you've had a lot of good games. What are the most memorable games you've played? And you can include summer ball. Brendan, start us off.
One of the most memorable games I've played was last year. Was our second conference game. We went down to Sierra College, and I ended up going, I think, 4 for 6 with 2 doubles, 3 runs, and an RBI. And it was just, you know, I came up with 2 outs at one point and hit a double that tied it up for us, and we ended up going on to win. We came from behind. It's a pretty memorable game for me because once we got to conference was really when I got locked into being the starting second baseman, and that really kind of solidified my role and kind of propelled me to the season I had. So, yeah.
I would say going into playoffs, there was the first 3 weeks that we played. I think 2 of the teams we would beat in extra innings. So I think that was I think those were super memorable just because, you know, being I'd say the first year back to playing and going pretty deep into the playoffs when we ended up going down to play Ohlone. Those were pretty fun games. You know, it didn't end up how you wanted to, but it was definitely competitive and you had something to look forward to a lot. So I think that was just super fun.
One game that I really enjoyed last year was a do or die play, like going into the playoff game, who would clinch. And we played Cabrillo College and it went to 13 innings. I went 5 for 7 that game. And the last inning it was tied game for like 3 innings straight. Last inning, I knock in, I think it was either my brother or the lead or the second hitter. I knock him in. We hold them. One of our guys in left field robs a home run, and we end up winning that game and, you know, clinching a playoff spot. But, you know, it was really, really intense, and it really showed how awesome Juco baseball could be.
You know, last year winning 36 games in a row and making it to Final Four was just like a real memorable season for Ohlone and stuff. And there were like so many moments between, I guess, myself and as an individual, and then my teammates and as a team, like collectively. I didn't want to choose like one moment from the spring, but over the summer, I went 4 or 5 with 3 doubles for the Western Nebraska Pioneers in the playoffs. And then after my last double, I look into the stands and like my host dad was cheering me on. So I tipped my cap to him. And after I tipped my cap, like the whole stadium kind of just started to cheer. That was just a cool little moment for me. So, and you know, during the summer I was struggling a little bit too. So when I had that game, it was pretty cool. It's a cool moment.
Fantastic. Always doff the cap. Didn't Babe Ruth used to do that? Rick, did you ever do that?
In my day, if you doffed your cat, you'd get thrown at the next time up. Because they'd always feel like showing up the opposing team or the opposing pitcher.
I knew that answer.
But it's always great to keep the fans involved because they're the ones that make your careers what they will be. And you got to have fans in the seats in order to watch you play.
Cato?
The most meaningful game for me as an individual would probably be the first game of season. It was technically my first college game, and bouncing back from a Division I school, I was really unsure of what my future held. And my first 2 at bats, I was 0 for 2 and I was like overthinking everything. I'm like, oh no, like what's going on? First game of season, starting off really poorly. But then my last 2 at bats, we still lost this game, but we were down 7 or down 8 runs. And so my last 2 at bats, I had 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and we almost came back and won that game. But that kind of just set the pace for my season and kind of like the mentality, like I'm ready to play at a college level. This game kind of proves it. And like, I'm going to have my ups and downs, but as long as I keep a level head and can control what I control, then I'm good to go.
I think for me, the kind of the whole Final Four series last year was pretty memorable for me. And I pitched in the first game. I relieved the first game against Palomar and then started against Folsom Lake. And I think what was really cool was that I saw all of my teammates really, step up and take leadership. For example, our second baseman went down with an injury, and one of my teammates, Cam Calvillo, stepped up and took his place. And I think probably the coolest aspect of that whole series was how everyone on the team had an impact, whether it was on the field making plays or providing high energy from the bench. So that was cool.
Josh?
I think the coolest moment I had was a couple summers ago. It was the 9th inning. It was my day off, and I was catching a pen. And then I got the call to go hit, bases loaded with 2 outs. And I ended up hitting a walk-off grand slam in an 0-2 count. And I don't know, I kind of just froze in the box after I hit it. Don't really remember running the bases or anything. Couldn't sleep the rest of the night. I don't know. I think that was just a cool moment for me. Had the whole city behind me the rest of the year. So, yeah, it was just a
classic.
Good moment.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we were kind of off to a rocky start. I think we were 4-4. We were just going on our Sacramento trip. We had just lost to Sac City earlier in the week. The next day we lost to Sierra. And then we had a game right after that at like 6 or 6:30 against City again. And we were like 4. Yeah, like I said, we were like 4-4 at this point. And we took them into like 11 innings, I think. We were up 2 in the 9th. They scored 2, and then we scored 2 in the 11th, and then they scored 1 in the bottom. And it was just a gnarly game. But like to come back off after losing a couple of games that we knew we should have won and not having the start that we wanted, it was really awesome, especially as a team. Because I didn't play particularly well, but like that was one that we really needed as a squad. So it was nice to get that one.
Rick, you've got the next question. I'm going to have Casey answer it first because I just got a text that Casey has to go to work. So load it up.
All right. Well, obviously you guys have had a lot of success, and you probably have a little bit of that to owe some of the people that you've met along the way. But I'm curious to find out which coach that you had the most impact on you as a player and why. Yeah, we could start with you, big man.
Yeah. Honestly, I think one of my coaches back in my hometown his name's Zach Miller. He's one of the head coaches one of the coaches at Moore Park College. But I knew him growing up. He was always one of those coaches where it's like you do something bad, you have to run for like 30 minutes straight till you're completely gassed. Just one of those guys. But he really drilled it into me. Don't be soft. Be you're always gonna have make mistakes. So don't make them. But he was definitely a hard coach, but he definitely helped shape who I was today. Also, I have to owe it to my dad because those car rides home when we're not playing so well were pretty tough. So yeah, motivation right there.
There you go.
Case, if you got to roll, go ahead and roll. Next would be Brandon. Thank you for joining us. By the way, Casey, you're supposed to say Rick. Rick's helping you out with the catching game.
Rick, yeah, thank you, man. Awesome.
Cheers. Brandon.
So for me, one of my big coaches, Skip, Coach Repeaters at Delta, he's been huge, with helping with the mental game and, helping, teach the game. He's super knowledgeable and has a lot of years of experience. So he's seen a lot of players and he's really helped out with the mental game, especially. And, that's a big thing, creating routines and, creating, flush when bad things happen, and that's been big for me. And then my hitting coach, John Hamilton, has been a big help. Right after my junior year, I was struggling my swing and struggling at the plate, and he really helped me create a new swing, the one I use now. And he also helps me with the mental game. There's gonna be bad days, there's gonna be good days. You just gotta stay the same and stay level headed. So those two coaches have helped me a lot, and it's been big with my mental game. Yeah.
I would have to say Butch Bakula is one of my probably biggest mentors, I would say, that helped me a lot get to where I am to this day. He's been coaching me since I was probably 10, 12 years old. He's always had a lot of knowledge. He's always given me any single piece of advice I could ever ask for. I know I can always count on him, and I know that he will always be there. So I think that was something that has been huge in my life, is him.
He's the PBR guy, right?
No, he was the cross checker for the Seattle Mariners and Cincinnati Reds. He's now like a local coach.
I see him on Twitter all the time. Yeah, he's in it big time.
When I was playing in travel ball and stuff, I played for Mike Luna, who I think was the head coach for Mission College a little while back. He instilled like certain things about my mentality, like things that require like zero talent, that like attitude and body language, and like things like handling failure, that as a baseball player you have to be able to understand if you want to be great. And learning that from him, when I got to a coach at my high school like John Diotti, who's been there for like 30 plus years and has been telling his players to do this for as long as he's been there, like it just came a lot easier to me. And I kind of like knew about this stuff like before I got there. And then like playing for Coach Diotti, he definitely made me a lot tougher and just solidified like all those values in my mind and my heart, like as a baseball player. So now I get to play for Coach Curran, and I feel like having those qualities playing under Coach Curran now has given me just a real good platform just to have fun myself. So I feel like playing under Coach Curran, I've kind of been able to be myself more than like I've ever been.
By the way, Stevie, that's special when the coach allows you to be the player you are.
Absolutely.
You retain players. Right now you see exodus into the portal from a lot of these programs where, for whatever reason, and it's not always the only reason, but sometimes there are issues with players who, for whatever reason, they don't have a rhythm with the coach. The coach doesn't let them be themselves, hit the way they hit, be the kind of player they should be, because that's what got them there. And then you have that disconnect. So props to you on that.
I would say that Coach Curran definitely does a good job of making sure everybody feels comfortable in our program. There's definitely nobody like that feels like left out or anything. And another thing is that like being at a Juco program, like everybody comes into like Ohlone and everybody has a platform to speak as a leader. Everybody can be a leader because once you speak, everybody's going to listen to you. So being able to be comfortable as a player to like speak your mind no matter what, and having your whole team listen to you is huge, I feel like, in a program.
Outstanding. Again.
One honorable mention for me, like Casey said, would be my dad. Sometimes I would go home and just think, does he have split personality disorder? Do I call him coach or do I call him dad? He could be an earful sometimes, but he's not just a baseball coach. He's a life coach, whether it be girl problems, school, just anything that's a pain in the ass. But, he's there whenever I need him. So thank you for that. Another special moment I was able to have with a coach would be Omar Visquel. I had the pleasure of working with him for a film shoot for YSPN Youth Sports Network a while back. And it was really special because he's had so much experience. I want to say the best defensive shortstop. And you can at me on that, but just really great to work with him. He showed me just all the fundamentals, and it's stuck with me ever since.
I think for me over at Ohlone, our pitching coach TC Fairfield has really taught me how to pitch and use all of my pitches and arsenal effectively, and he's really taught me how to use all my secondary pitches in any count, which is very valuable for me.
Nice.
I think for me, it was my dad and my brother, them working together to make me what I am today. Like, I couldn't ask for a better brother for sure. He's been on me every day to be the best I can be in everything that I do, and I appreciate him for that. And one of the best coaches I think I've had is definitely Skipper, Coach Peters over at Delta. He instilled a mental game in me right when I got there, and I think that's what gave me success going into my years. Like it just allows me to approach the game a way that a lot of other guys don't, because I can handle everything that comes at me, like no matter what's going on.
Cooper.
Yeah. I think just as from a coaching perspective, my travel ball coach for probably 7 or 8 years, Lance Franks from the Chico Aces, just helping me develop and play to my strengths. I've never been the biggest guy on the field. Just play my game and play how I know how to play. And obviously the coaches up here at FRC are just awesome, and I've grown a lot in the last 2 years I've been here. And I wouldn't be here without them. But I'd also like to say thank you to my dad and my cousin. My dad's never been a huge baseball mind, but my brother and we both play college ball, and he's always in our ears. He's always talking to us. He's always sending me Twitter posts of different dudes' swings and all that stuff. And my cousin, he's a relief pitcher for the White Sox right now. And I'm always in his ear talking about the mental game and stuff, and talking about how he approaches his outings. And it's different coming from a pitcher and I'm a hitter, but it's really, really nice to know that I have that resource, and he's super open to help me. So it's been really cool.
I'm sure he'd rather have you in his ear than in his wallet, right, Cooper?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially this is his rookie year this year, so he's not
okay. Sure.
He's just making it up. So
well, good luck to him for sure.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm sure all of you would like to be like Rick, 4 decades playing in the MLB, of course, 24 years of action. But let's start with the next 5. I like to call this the crystal ball, where we consult our favorite gypsy and forecast where we're going to be in 5 years. Brendan O'Sullivan, fire away.
I think obvious goal after this year, move on to a D1. I'm hoping to play, at a top 25 school if I can, and, make a push for a College World Series. That'd be, the dream for me. And then, after that 1 or 2 years at that school, I'd love to get, drafted or signed and play pro ball as long as I can. And, hopefully within those next 5 years, I'm playing pro ball. That's probably my biggest goal and dream and hope. And that's what I work for every day.
Corey?
Yeah, I would say that definitely going to a Division I school after this is the main goal right now. Getting there, and then the next step is hopefully being able to achieve probably every single baseball player's dream is to hopefully get drafted one day and to play as long as you can. And then,
hands up before we go to Big Steve. Let's do a raise of the hands for a D1 or bust. Is anybody here D1 or bust? Are you willing to look at D2, perhaps even D3? This is a jump ball question. Raise your hands if you're willing to play D2. Raise your hands if you're willing to play D3. Raise your hands if you're willing to play NAIA. Okay. Just wanted to know. Playing is the key, and we have limited time. Again, we like to be like Rick, right? 24 years. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Stevie, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Fire away. 5 years.
Good. Well, I would just say, I want to take things one step at a time, and my goal is to play as long as I can and at the highest level I can. So I just want to move on to a winning program, has a good baseball culture, and with a good group of guys who want to win. And then, wherever I'm at, just like we said before, I want to, feel comfortable to play play as who I am as a player, so if I'm able to go do that at whatever program and I get along with the people there, I'm happy to do that. And then, after that, I think the beauty of it is kind of just not knowing right now, and then moving on, dealing with that process is a kind of a cool journey too. So just trusting God and seeing where, my path takes me.
I 100% agree with what Stevie said. I want to take things one step at a time. Of course, I would like to move on to a program that accepts me for who I am, allows me to play the way I play, and just a really solid culture, athletically and academically. After that, I would like to move on to pro baseball, either here. Another big dream of mine would be playing professional baseball in Japan because I am Japanese and I just love the culture. And if I'm not playing pro baseball down the road, medical school, Dr. Kleinman doesn't have a terrible ring to it. So we'll work with that.
Nice.
I think for me, just going back to what Stevie said, I really want to move on to a program that has a really good culture and group of guys that work hard. And I think in the future, if I'm not playing pro ball, I still want to be involved in the game in some way, because it's my passion and I cherish being on the field every day. So.
I think, the goal for me is definitely just get drafted. I want to play D1 baseball, and I'll play wherever I get the opportunity to go. But the end goal for me is getting drafted. I mean, that's been my goal since I was a kid. Everything I do is to do that, and I feel like by chasing that dream, it'll lead me somewhere to a school that's gonna put me in front of the right people.
Very good. Coop?
Yeah, I mean, like everyone said, like obviously, like that is the goal, to get drafted. But I'm at this point, I'm kind of just taking it one step at a time, just being the best me that I can be at this point. I'm not, obviously I would love to go D1. I think that's awesome, but I want to win. I want to be somewhere where people want to win just as bad as me, and like that's just the culture I kind of want to be like surrounded by. Obviously, it's good to be around good dudes and guys that have your back and all that stuff, but whether it's D1, D2, D3, NAIA, there's good baseball at every single level. So I don't think I would want to restrict myself to that.
Yeah. Rick, any parting suggestions for the boys trying to impress the college recruiters? And who knows, maybe some MLB scouts in attendance at the sophomore showcase. And by the way, before you answer, I just want to throw my 2 cents in, unscripted, of course, completely shooting from the hip. You're not necessarily going to get these kinds of answers and this kind of maturity from high school seniors. This is why I believe that Juco is the most fertile recruiting ground for any college at any level. With that said, Rick, what do you have to say for these boys?
Well, I'll tell you what, because, I started out in high school. In my junior year of high school, I was playing semi-pro ball all over Los Angeles. I had a passion for the game, just like all of you guys are talking about. And but not many scouts would say much to me at that time because I wasn't a senior in high school. But when I got to a senior in high school, I really blew up to a solid, mean 145-pound catcher. And when the scouts came to my mother's house in the summer after I graduated, they told my mom, don't change the furniture around in his room because he will be back home in 6 weeks. And my mom told me that. And I didn't let it get me down. As a matter of fact, I used it as motivation because my passion for the game made me want to play Major League Baseball more than anything else in the world. I had no desire to go to college. You guys have an opportunity to do that, and it's a good thing. You're not being left behind by playing at a college level, but you could still take the same steps that I took along the way. I was hell-bent on proving that I was going to be a Major League Baseball player, and I wasn't afraid to tell any scout that said, what do you want to do? I'm going to play in the big leagues. And at 17 years old, I got my first professional contract. At 19 years old, at 160 pounds, I was playing in the big leagues. And I couldn't ask enough questions. And that's the key for a lot of you guys. Do not be afraid to ask those guys that are in a better position than you are right now. Ask them questions on how you can be a better baseball player. I asked every Hall of Fame guy that I ran across in the Minnesota Twin organizations, Tony Oliva, Rod Carew, Jim Cott, guys like that, great left-handed pitchers. What do I need to do to be catching you at the major league level, playing with you, hitting with you at the major league level? And it was just amazing and maybe miraculous that I was a big leaguer at 19 years old, and I just kept to the same thing. I kept my passion. I worked hard. This job isn't something that you can take off. I see a lot of Major League Baseball players and guys who are really good players, but they don't take the game as seriously as they can, and they get hurt. When it's a 365-day-a-year job for me, of course, I worked out 6 days a week the day after I got home from every season for 27 years. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I lasted so long in a sport which is so difficult to play on a daily basis. It's not like football once a week or basketball every other day for 80 games. It's not like that at all. It's different the way you prepare mentally and physically for this game. Go out and work when the cameras aren't on you and put your great day of work in all the time. Realize that the key to Major League Baseball is flexibility and durability. You don't have to spend hours and hours of pushing big weight and bench press 350 pounds. You know, this game, baseball, is played with your hands and your feet mostly. Those are the areas of your main focus, is to keep those areas in good condition, and you'll save yourself a lot of injury time that is down. I mean, some things you can't avoid. Bo Jackson coming home, and you got a tenth of a second to think about what are you going to do, because you know he's going to hit you, is, you know, get the hell out of the way once you tag him and he's out. He broke my thumb, but, you know, I wouldn't change it to this day, because it taught me something is my concentration was on what I had to do, my job. And, you know, it was unfortunate that I broke my thumb. It was one of the 2 times in 27 years I was ever on the disabled list. But I remember I kept my fundamentals and I kept my game personally intact. I could have been out. If I wasn't prepared for Bo Jackson, I probably would have been out of the game. That would have been a career-ending injury for me. But, you know, even though I was an older player at that time, I had plenty of times that, you know, there was trauma in my game. But the way you survive it is every day you've got to prepare yourself for that 200 games that you may be the guy playing every single day. Realize when you're a pitcher that the most important part of your game is throwing strikes. And if you can't do that 70, 80% of the time, and then 10% of the time I know you're pitching out of the strike zone on purpose, then you're not prepared physically for that position at the major league level. I know all you guys can play at the major league level. It's got to be in your heart. Every single day when you wake up, you got to say to yourself, what can I do today to help me continue and get to the major league, continue my quest to get to the major leagues? And if you have that passion and you have that determination, you will make it. Don't be afraid to ever say, I want to play in the major leagues. I don't just want to play in college. That's one of my steps to get to the major league. But I want to play at the major league level, and I'm going to find out how I can do that, and I will be there. And you guys will make it a long way. Good luck to every single one of you. It's been so much fun talking to you guys. And I know the feeling behind everything that you've said here today.
Gentlemen, and we've got representatives from Ohlone, San Joaquin Delta, Feather River College. Sorry, I know you guys got a great ball club. I think you're ranked, number 6 or 7 last year going in, and I'm sure you're going to be just as good this year. And, of course, Monterey Peninsula College. Guys, what I'd love you to do is follow us on Twitter. It's at 2 Days Prospects. And, of course, the Prospect Blueprint on YouTube. I thank you all for jumping on the podcast with us. Next Saturday is going to be a great time for you. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully provide you with some opportunities to move on to that next level that we discussed. From Rick and I here at the Prospect Blueprint, we wish you good luck and good health. Remember, retweet, share, comment, like, and follow us on Twitter, again at 2 Days Prospects, and on YouTube as the Prospect Blueprint. Gentlemen, good luck next week.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining me.
Appreciate you.